Good morning, guys. We are working on methodology, a theological methodology of pastoral counseling. Today, we want to take a look at the types of psychotherapies pastoral counseling use. Well, there are many psychotherapies actually. Well, psychology, we can just say, started with Sigmund Freud. He just made and developed psychoanalysis. Including that, there, we had many psychotherapies from that time. And well, for example, if we want to just fix something, we use lots of tools. For example, we want to just fix a door, and we need screwdriver, pliers, and maybe planners, and what else? Jigsaw, circular saw, skill saw, or table saw. See, we need lots of tools for fixing a door. And like that, if we want to just help people with counseling, we use lots of skills too. Well, when we start with a client, we want to just form rapport, kind of relationship between a counselor and a client. Then that must be the first step. And then as time passes, we just build relationships, kind of trust, so the client can tell, whatever he or she wants to tell, and then they want to just ready to listen from their counselors and psychotherapists, and then the counselors kind of know and then draw a picture, make a picture, and then plan for counseling. Counselors cannot, a carpenter cannot fix a door with a screwdriver only. Like that, counselors want to just use lots of tools to help the client. That's what's so-called psychotherapies. Well, besides that, counselors want to use lots of diagnosis systems and tools and inventories. So, like MMPI and MBTI, that's kind of a light one, but well, it depends on the client's situations and conditions. Counselors want to use many psychotherapies and tools because and then counselors can find the right one, not only one, but some of the psychotherapies. So that must, which are the best for the client. So that's what so-called psychotherapies. We want to just take a look some groups of psychotherapies, because I don't want to just tell all the psychotherapies like a TA, transactional analysis, and reality therapy, RT, and cognitive behavior therapy. There are many psychotherapies, but we can just, I want to just explain about the groups of psychotherapies those are provided by APA. So counselors want to know what kind of tools they can use. For that, they have to know psychotherapies. If you don't know how to use the tools, you cannot use it. You cannot think about it even. So counselors want to know all kinds of psychotherapies as much as they can. So they want to just equip all the tools for helping clients. So counselors want to know what kind of psychotherapies they have or they can choose, and they have to know how to use those things, right? You have all kind of tools, but you don't know how to use that. That's kind of nonsense, right? So you know what psychotherapies are there, and you have to know most of them, all of them, and then you have to know how to use it. Okay, so those things, those works are very crucial for the counselors. So we want to just take a look what kind of the types of psychotherapies we have and how pastoral counselors can use those. All right, psychologists generally draw on one or more theories of psychotherapy. Okay, that was counselor and clients, and counselors can depends on the conditions, situations, and the story, issues, and problems. Counselors can use lots of psychotherapies. Okay, so psychotherapies, there are lots of psychoanalysis, civility therapy, TA, cognitive, rational, cognitive therapy, or behavioral therapy. Okay, there are many psychotherapies, as I said. So, and then depends on the client's situations. Counselors can focus on any of those psychotherapies. They have to choose it and they have to use it. Okay, but those are not limited. They can start with those, but counselors can adapt these for helping and supporting the counseling, and maybe the counselors can remove a psychotherapy because that's not that effective for the clients, right? So counselors can set up tools like psychotherapies. Right, a theory of psychotherapy acts as a roadmap for psychologists. Actually, counselors and psychologists, they set the plan. Depends on based on the client's situations, and they can set the plan, and they can adapt those psychotherapies to the plan. Okay, so what kind of psychotherapies they want to use at certain stages. They can use multiple psychotherapies at this stage, or something. Okay, depends on the situations, but those can be very mixed with, they want to just put them together for the best result. A theory of psychotherapy acts as a roadmap for psychologists. They have a plan and they adopt those psychotherapies, and then actually those are roadmaps. Not only psychotherapies can be a roadmap itself for themselves, but counselors set a plan and they can adopt those psychotherapies. It guides them through the process of understanding clients and their problems and developing solutions. Okay, process of understanding clients. Well, the counselors or psychologists can, when they know those psychotherapies, they can utilize that for understanding those things. Okay, and they do, based on those things, they can choose the right proper psychotherapies. So those are working together, right? But mainly we are talking about the psychotherapies at this time. Uh, so we can say psychotherapies can be a roadmap for the counselors to help clients, right? Understanding clients and their problems and developing solutions, right? Okay. Approaches to psychotherapy fall into 5 broad categories. So we want to just touch the groups of psychotherapies. They can be close together, like a cognitive and behavioral. Behavioral, there are RTs and many things. So the clients can have to practice this and that, and sometimes counselors can give their clients homeworks so that they can practice something in their lives. So through that, counselors are believing that the clients can practice this and that in their real lives as a assigned homework. When they practice this and that, the clients can know and feel the changes. On the other hand, that's kind of practice thing, but the cognitive. Some psychologists and counselors are believing that if they change their mind and thinking, they can change their lives and emotions too, and then they can focus on the thinking, right? And that's also called cognitive. And then they have certain groups for the psychotherapies. Okay. All right. So I want to just touch the 5 kind of broad categories. Right. Psychoanalysis and psychodynamic therapies. Well, this one, Sigmund Freud must be the father of this area. Okay, and he actually focused on libido, and then at the baby's libido must be focused on their anal and their private parts, and kind of sexual thing. And Freud wanted to find something triggered present. Something triggers happened in the past, and it affects to the current problems of the clients. So Sigmund Freud wanted to talk with his clients a lot for finding, those triggers, because those triggers in the past can be developed or removed or disappeared, but he was thinking that those triggers made the client's current problems. Well, this approach focuses on changing problematic behaviors, feelings, and thoughts by discovering their unconscious meanings and motivations. So those triggers can form the unconscious, okay? And the clients are doing this because of something, okay? Then what made the client, those clients do something and feel something? That's the motivations, okay? And because we have conscious and unconscious area, 지금부터 Freud and psychoanalysis want just seeking what unconscious things and meanings are, making those things problems and issues for the clients. Okay, so the counselors and psychotherapists goals are to find those things, unconscious meanings and motivations. Once they find those, and they can, talk with their clients and challenge them and push them, or I don't know, certain level of pushing. It's not real pushing, but so, or just make their clients understand what happened and what kind of unconscious meanings and motivations are, making those clients' problems and issues. So psychoanalytically oriented therapies are characterized by a close working partnership between therapist and patient. Okay, that means finding those unconscious meanings, unconscious meanings and motivations. Do you think it is hard, easy to find it? If I throw a pen, toss a marker like this, okay? You see that I am tossing the marker, right? But you don't know what makes me tossing this marker. Okay? If you don't know what kind of motivations I make that I'm tossing a marker, you cannot fix this thing. But you can say, stop tossing it. Well, I can stop it. But you didn't take care of the meanings and motivations. Maybe I'm just doing this because I have, I'm just doing this, and you can see that, and I can see that. Okay, I'm tossing a mark. But if there is any, we can think, is there any unconscious meanings? Right? Maybe I'm just tossing a marker. Even I don't know why, but it makes me feel better and comfort and easy. And that is the meaning and that is the motivations. I want to just calm down, so I'm just tossing a marker like this. Then why? The relationships between tossing a marker and my motivation and unconscious meaning. I want to just talk with my counselor a lot. And even I don't understand. I don't understand why, but it makes me feel better. It makes me feel comfortable. Okay, it makes me calm down a little bit more, right? Then I have to talk to my counselor a lot for finding the reason and meaning and motivation by myself too. For that, I I need to talk with my counselors in detail, this and that, in many cases, many other things I do. And for that, the, my counselor and I, a client myself, want to talk about this a lot. Okay, maybe maybe I did when I was a kid after I got scolded by my parents. But I I don't know why at this point, but for finding that I need to just talk with my clients, this and that. I don't know why. Or maybe when I recall something, the day or those days I got scolded by my parents, and I came back to my room and I tossed a pen or pencil, and I felt okay, and I maybe that triggered me, and that kind of a memory makes me feel comfortable when I do this. Whenever I got frustrated, when I got whenever I got feel bad, or when I got depressed. So this helps. Well, this is kind of a little thing, but there are many things happening to our clients, and we want to just figure that out. For that, clients and counselors want to work together closely. Okay, so it is the same with that. Patients or clients learn about themselves by exploring their interactions in the therapeutic relationship. Okay. Um, so clients usually they don't know what's going on in them in their lives, so they want to just know and understand and find the solutions. They see their counselors, okay, and then by through the working together with their counselors, they can learn. They can learn about themselves, okay, by exploring the interactions in the therapeutic relationships. So when they find, what was the problem and why I'm doing this, and then they can understand why, and they can understand themselves a little bit more. Cause lots of people don't know what's going on in them, and why they don't understand why they are doing, why they are speaking, why they are feeling, in a certain ways. So working with their counselors, then they can understand themselves too. That is what's so called therapeutic relationship. Okay. Well, you can talk with your friends about your problems and issues. You can do that too. Okay. But with your counselors, you can talk you can say something in detail more deeply too. Why psychoanalysis is closely identified with Sigmund Freud, it has been extended and modified since his early formulations. Okay. Well, for finding those unconscious meanings and motivations, Sigmund Freud used to work with his clients for a long time, sometimes many months, years. It takes, it takes lots of time for that because they want to just find many other things related in certain issues and problems. Because it takes, finding those unconscious meanings and motivations, it's not that simple, okay? You can say this, but you don't know what's going on in me, in my head, in my mind, and feelings, and many other things. So it can be related with my, lots of my past experiences. Whether those are traumatic or whether those are not traumatic. It can be positive, but it can be it could be started with negative feelings and negative experience, but it could be started with a positive experience and feelings too. Okay. All right. What about the behavior therapy? This approach focuses on learning's role in developing both normal and abnormal behaviors. Okay. Why we behave like that? Why we do this? Why we don't do this? Okay. Why some students are working really hard before the test? On the other hand, why some other students are they don't study at all, or they play and they go crazy before the test? Okay, there are lots of normal and abnormal. I don't know. Sometimes it is kind of hard to say which is normal and which is abnormal, right? We have our own standards and common sense, but maybe we can just block some people's normal behaviors with our groups our groups rules and laws and codes. When I was young, there were almost 50 or 60 students in a classroom. It's packed. It's packed. And many societies, many countries, they wanted to put all kids in a classroom, and they because they had lots of students in classrooms, teachers couldn't do interactive teaching. Maybe ask this and that with too few students, and few students just raise their hands for asking questions. But majority of those people were not interested in those classes. But they had to choose those classes. And actually the options were very, selected classes were very limited. So whole class students were, had to stay in the classroom in Korea, and the teachers came one by one, like for the language, for the mathematics, for the culture, or for the music, something like that. But those students had to stay in the classroom whole day, like 8 to 6 or 5. They didn't have any choice. They didn't have any choice. So at that time, sitting on the chair and listening to their teacher was the virtue, was the only virtue. Sometimes they raised some questions, were not allowed it because other students didn't like those people because they don't want to be distracted by those stupid questions. Even though those are good questions, they didn't want to listen to those questions. Or they wanted to just focus on what teachers are saying, and they just took a note and memorize it and take a test. At that time, if students want practice dancing and singing in the classroom during the break time, that was weird. That was not allowed. Nowadays, I mean, the society in my country still are focusing on the test results because they are competing for the test result. So only memorizing and understanding, and they think that's the IQ. Actually, IQ is measuring the memorization and some skills, not whole talents, not whole skills human beings have. So IQ is testing just a little part of our abilities. That's a little, and all kinds of tests are focused on using this thing. So that's not fair at all. That's stupid actually. What is your IQ? So your IQ is high. So what? You understand something? You can solve problems, very quick. So what? That's very limited talent and skill we have. What about the music talent? What about the drawing talent? What about dancing talents? I mean, then the intelligence quotient. It's just one out of many, but the whole society and whole country are competing, together. We don't using only one part of it, so that's not fair. But nowadays, that's a good thing. My home country, in my home country, still, if you have a good IQ, you can get easier life because all kinds of tests are limited to those areas. But fortunately, the whole country and society is changing, so there are whole lot many choices students can pick. So they can pick whatever they want and they can practice it. Those are still limited, but because the don't provide schools don't provide all kinds of activities students who want to develop and they like. Even though they are not good at it, they want to just try, but those are very limited. So anyway, private schools and other activities beside the school, they are working on whatever they want. That is normal actually. Comparing with IQ, that's stupid. You understand it, you memorize it, and you take the test, and you got good score, and you go good companies. That's stupid. So lots of companies nowadays want to just use an interview. They just weigh more on the interviews, and then they just try to find the right person for the right positions. Okay, That's what many companies are doing in the United States too. Okay. For developing new programs and applications, do you need really high SAT scores? Do you think so? I don't think so. It's a very little part of our um, abilities and skills. That's why the Harvard University Education Department has a great scholar like Howard Gardner, and he developed multiple intelligences rather than one little IQ. Okay, so multiple intelligences means music intelligences and interpersonal intelligences and uh, interpersonal. So yeah, I got a mosquito, and then interpersonal intelligence, space, and um, kinesthetic intelligence. You know, many areas. That is a good thing. Even though those are not covering all kind of intelligences human beings have, okay. But that is a good thing. That is a wonderful work. So because it's not limited to one little tiny small area IQ. Okay. Ivan Pavlov made important contributions to behavior therapy by discovering classical conditioning or associative learning. Okay, Pavlov's famous dogs, for example, began drooling when they heard their dinner bell because they associated the sound with the food. Okay, Ivan Pavlov. Well, I just wanted to show the experiments, but you can find those experiments from YouTube. YouTube has almost everything, and you can learn many other things. So if you can use YouTube the right way, I think you can learn so many things. I think literally you can find almost everything you need to know and do. Well, I started to take care of my cars, because I have cars for my families on my name, and um, I didn't have any. I didn't have any interest. I was not interested in repairing cars and something, but I just started that maybe five years ago, and it was fun. It was fun. It messed my body and garage floors and a lot. And sometimes I made mistakes. Well, recently I made big mistakes. So my car is in a mechanic shop, and so replacing all kinds of fluids and breaker pad, brake roller, and front end parts. And I just tried many other things as my cars need those stuff. So YouTube has everything. Anyway, anyway, you can find that experiment. So there is a dog. Okay, there is a dog. I don't know if you like it or not. There's a dog. Okay. Um, Ivan Pavlov experimented this. Whenever he gives the dog food, okay, he just belt, right? No, it's not like a bell. Okay. So this is the food, and and there is a bell. Okay. He just combined with the dog food and the bell. So whenever he gives the dog food, he just bell it, ding 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 ding, and food, ding 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 ding, and food. Okay, and then they drool. Dogs are drooling a lot when they eat their food and when they want to just eat their food. And in front of the food, they drools. Okay. So he repeated this many times. And one day he just bailed on me. No food but bail. And what happened? The dogs the dogs the dogs drooled, okay? He, the dog couldn't see any food, but the dog heard the bell sound, and it means, oh, bell is, there is bell sound, which means I'm gonna have food. I'm gonna, that drooling is all kind of automatically, right? But the dog found there is no food at all, but the bell sound. But the dog still drools because because food and bell was combined and repeated so many times, and that is memorized in the dog. That's the behavior, and then Pavlov wanted to see what kind of behavior the dog can do. Okay, when a person got traumatized with a snake or snakes, and the person got paralyzed, like this. Because the person got bitten by a snake when the person was young. And the person got traumatized by snakes because the person doesn't want to get bitten by any snake anymore. Okay? It's kind of a fear. Fear. Then, when you see snakes on the TV, you got freezed too. The person got freezed. Couldn't move. And got fear. Right? When the person walks just take a walk on the streets, on the mountains, and for the trekkings, but whenever the person hears something, and the person got freeze because of trauma. Okay? And for understanding why the person got freeze, and you can understand that is related with the snake. And you can understand why people are doing certain things. Okay? I watched the movie Good Will Hunting. That's kind of an old movie from now. The main character was Robin Williams and Matt Damon. I love those actors, especially Robin Williams. He just killed himself a few years ago. That was kind of sad. And Matt Damon, he's a nice actor. I think in Bourne series made him famous and rich, I think, and those Bourne series was very successful, and I still love it. When Matt Damon, Matt Damon had a really bad experience in the movie The Good Will Hunting, because his father was kind of alcoholic, so whenever he drank and drunken by alcohols, and he used to beat him, and even he just asked Matt Damon. I don't remember the name in the movie, but his real name is Matt Damon, as you know. his father asked him, what kind of things you're gonna get beaten by? A stick, a chain, or something else? Well, he got traumatized with that, and then later on, he, his father, I don't know, he dead or he killed or whatever. He just gone, and Matt Damon had to live by himself, and he was focusing on books. I think reading books for Matt Damon was kind of escaping out of the situations and out of the bad experiences and memories. And so he just read and read and read like a bookworm. And he read lots of books and he could understand many things, including mathematics, culture, history, in many areas. And he had lots of knowledges. And I think that behavior, reading books like a bookworm, is associated with the bad experience. Okay? Reading books, bad experience. So whenever he wanted to escape from the current situation and bad feelings and bad memories, he just wanted to work on books. I mean, that is related, right? That is related. Okay? So, for understanding human behavior, but Pavlov experiments were very meaningful nowadays too. So, it's part of behavior therapy. And B, desensitizing is classical conditioning action. A therapist might help a client with a phobia through repeated exposure to whatever it is that causes anxiety. Okay? So desensitizing means you have a phobia with snake because you hear some things, you got freezed, and then the therapists or counselors can you to expose to many snakes many times, so you can kind of be familiar with those scenes and those objects, snakes. Okay? And then by exposing to those traumatic scenes and objects, often and many times, then you can be numb a little bit. Okay? You can be numb a little bit. There was a big riot in LA, and that's also called the LA riots. African American just ran away with a car, white small car. I think there was a Hyundai Excel or Accent, and lots of police officers chased him, and finally he yielded, and he just yielded on the floor, on the street near the freeway, I think. Lots of police officers who chased him, beaten him, even though he yielded. Those officers beat him a lot, a lot, a lot. And that film opened to the public, and lots of people got mad because even you got yielded, and police officers are supposed to handcuff and just take him to police station. There is no reason police officers just beat him that severely. Yeah? And during the court, the court showed the what is that? Jurors the video with a lot many times until they got numb. When you watch the kind of action movie you like, bloods and beating and hitting, those are things that are happening. When you watch that movie the first time, you got, excited and something that's real. But what if you watch the movie second time? Is it that exciting? No, it's gonna be less exciting than the first time you watch the movie. If you watch the movie 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 10 times, 100 times, you're gonna get excited more? No. Because you are very, get used to the movie and you know what will happen after that. Okay, you know what they are doing again and again, right? It's not gonna be excited. It's gonna be less excited as time passes. As much as you watch the movie. If you watch the action movie one time, you're gonna say, "Wow." Same thing happened to the jurors. When they watched the videotape, they got anger. Okay, because that's not acceptable. But as time passes, they're gonna get less anger and less anger they had, and finally it turned out they are not. The police officer is not guilty. But since desensitizing means you have a snake phobia, you just see lots of snakes in the zoo or in the TV or and many other things you can do. You can use the later on you can touch the kind of a toy snakes. And you can watch the snakes on the floor, real thing in the cage or something, and you're gonna get used to it. And you're gonna get less angry. You're gonna get less, frustrated. You're gonna get less anxiety. C. Another important thinker was Thorndike, who discovered operant conditioning. This type of learning relies on rewards and punishments to shape people's behavior. That's why we give candies to kids. All right, you finish your homework. This is a candy you can enjoy. Oh, you finish your plate. Good job. You can have a dessert. Oh, you don't want to do your homework, you're gonna get spanked. Those kind of rewards and punishments works. Okay, those things are working. So people know how to utilize rewards and punishments. By giving punishments and rewards, people are just trying to change people's behaviors. Okay, that's the operant conditioning. Well, I want to just add one more thing. If you want to give, that's a token effect. If you give a candy to kids after they finish this and that, after they do this and that, that's token effect. Teachers. Well, I'm just disappointed with the quality of teachers in California because I don't know what's happening in other states. But I know I just heard the news from New York long times ago, many years ago, because the government got disappointed with the teachers' quality, so they just had programs for leveling up those teachers. I think teachers' quality in California, because I just saw some teachers and when I send my kids to schools, and the second one got graduated high school, so I think it's, I don't know. I think I can tell this because I experienced from to my kids, and I disappointed with the quality of teachers. There are some crazy teachers, and most of them are great, but still there are some crazy teachers, and they're not qualified enough. They don't know how to teach. They have not enough knowledge and teaching skills. So I got disappointed, and actually, the education level in the United States are pretty low compared to other countries. Even though we are pouring lots of money on schools, I think because of the teachers. We are supposed to respect our teachers. I did, but still, I have to acknowledge that and say that teachers' quality, that's problem. And there are some really crazy teachers. They torture their students. They're not fair, and as I said, some cannot answer to their students because they don't have enough knowledge. It's basic. Character-wise, I don't know. Definitely, we all can agree that definitely there are some, not qualified teachers. I think we need a more screening system and something like that. Okay. Anyway, token effect. I give you punish, I give you reward. When students and kids know what kind of rewards they can expect after this, every single time they got reward, they got punishment, and that token effect is kind of less effective than random punishment and rewards. Okay, so when you want to just use kind of operant conditioning thing, you want to just do that randomly. Okay. D. Several variations have developed since behavior therapy's emergence in the 1950s. One variation is cognitive behavioral therapy, which focuses on both thoughts and behaviors. Thoughts and behaviors. Sure. We do something because we think something like that. Okay? We do something sometimes without thinking. Right? Sometimes we spit out words, very fast. So we were, right after we spit, some words out. But our thoughts and behaviors go together. That's common sense, right? Because we think this way, because we do something this way too. But for kids, not most of them, I mean all of them, but most of them, those are going together. But adults can, disguise some of our behaviors and thoughts. We don't like it, but we are very kind to those people. Okay. Just little kids cannot do that. They don't like it. They just cry and they just refuse to go or they just do this. Okay. But the adults, they know how to do, and so not all of us, most adults can disguise their thinking or behavior. So they pretend they are kind, but they are not. Okay? They pretend that they have good manners, but they have really bad thinking. Rusty. Okay? Perverted thinking they can have. Right? Many things. Cognitive behavior, right? So, emotional. Okay, rational. That's rational. So REBT is rational emotional behavioral therapy. Rational emotional behavioral therapy. That's those they are thinking. Those are connected. Sure. You don't feel bad, so you say something wrong, and you just slam the door. Okay? You think that's not fair, so you're feeling bad, you slam the door. You slam the door, and then you're feeling worse, and you think that you got angry. Something like that. Well, next one is cognitive therapy. Cognitive therapy emphasizes what people think rather than what they do. Okay? They are focusing on thinking. Cognitive therapists believe that it's dysfunctional thinking that leads to dysfunctional emotions or behaviors. Because they think dysfunctional way, and they feel that they behave bad. Okay. For example, you think your mother doesn't love you, and you feel really bad, and you just don't respect your mother. By changing their thoughts, people can change how they feel and what they do. Okay? By changing their thoughts. So counselors want to just try to change their thinking. I don't know if that works or not, but they can do that. They can give it a try. By changing their thoughts, people can change how they feel and what they do. So when they make decisions, like some people just decided, okay, smoking is really bad. I'm gonna just quit it, and they quit. And they think, okay, smoking is harmful to their lungs and bodies, and those can trigger cancers. Okay, I don't feel like it. They think that they can change their thoughts and change their emotions and behaviors. Major figures in cognitive therapy include Albert Ellis and Aaron Beck. Okay? When you got angry, well, somebody stepped on your feet in a bus, you feel bad. And your body, actually, your feet is ouchy, painful. So you're gonna get angry to and then say something harsh on to the person, and you realize you just see the person and it's a little tiny, weak person, and you're gonna get angry and you can explode your anger to the person. But what if the guy is kind of a big guy and no one can say and you yourself cannot say, and he's a gangster, and you just pour your anger to the person? Can you do that? And you think, oh, it's gonna be dangerous, and you don't pour out, you don't explode your anger to the person. That's what people do. Okay? In that case, don't explode your anger because you're gonna get in trouble more. Whether the person, the gangster, just says sorry, says sorry or not, suck it up, or you got in trouble. That's what you think. That's what people usually think. It's not fair or not, whatever it is, suck it up because you got in trouble. How to anger? All people are different. All people are different. It depends on the situations. Kind of sad sometimes. So weak countries don't explode their anger to stronger and richer countries. That's sad people, sad situations. Strong and rich countries colonize weak countries, weak tribes, and they just rip off them. That's sad. Because those strong countries know that weak countries cannot do anything for their misbehaviors. That's sad. Anyway, major figures is in cognitive therapy include Albert Ellis and Aaron Beck. Humanistic therapy. This approach emphasizes people's capacity to make rational choices and develop to their maximum potential. Do you think it is right? I think it is negative. It is right, and it is ideal, and it is negative. I think, when you just read the history of the United States, history of Europe, history of Asian countries and African countries, if you pick any history book, if you know what's going on in this world, it's hard to say, hard to trust people's choice. People's rational enough to choose the right choices. In preschools and kindergartens, teachers are always saying that you make good choices. You make good choices. Make good choices. Alright? Make good choices. You're gonna line up right, or you're gonna lose your you're gonna lose your tongue. You're gonna lose your chance. Line up, or you're gonna lose your chance. Your tongue. Make good choices. Make good choices for you and others, and that is ideal. But you just make a good choices only for you, but not for others, and you're gonna be gangsters. You're gonna make good choices for others, but not for yourselves. you're gonna be altruist. Okay? You're gonna be humanist. You're gonna make a good choices for you and you others. You are a good person. A country can make good choices for the country, but others. The country gonna do something what gangsters do. That's sad. Well, concern and respect for others are also important themes. If those two things can go together, that's great. Okay, rational choices, you just trust people can make rational choices and develop to their maximum potential. Plus, they respect and consult others. That's good. That's the idea. Humanistic philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre, Martin Buber, and Jeremy Kierkegaard influenced this type of therapy. Okay? Humanistic philosophers. Those are great philosophers. And three types of humanistic therapy are especially influential. Client-centered therapy rejects the idea of therapists as authorities on their clients' inner experiences. Instead, therapists help clients change by emphasizing their concern, care, and interest. Why don't you think this and that? Therapists, counselors don't do that, but just counselors and therapists want to support the clients to think and make good choices. Gestalt therapy emphasizes what it calls organismic holism, the importance of being aware of the here and now, accepting responsibility for yourself. Here and now, what I'm gonna do, that's my choice, my responsibility. Here and now, what are you gonna think? Okay, what do you think? What are you gonna feel? What are you gonna do? What kind of choices are you gonna take? That's your responsibility. Okay? So here and now. Alright, you did something wrong, so you are in the prison. But here and now, what are you gonna do in the prison? Okay? You made mistakes in the past, but here and now, what are you gonna do? From now on, what you do is your responsibility. You take responsibility. Existential therapy focus. So what are you gonna do? Existential therapy focuses on free will, self-determination, and the search for meaning. Free will, self-determination, and search for meaning. All right. So those are good therapies too. Integrative or holistic therapy, that's the last part out of 5, and many therapists don't tie themselves to any one approach. Instead, they blend elements from different approaches and tailor their treatment according to each client's need. So we want to know what our clients need first. And then when we set up the plan for psychotherapies and counselings, we can just choose some psychotherapies and we blend the right psychotherapies like doctors do prescribe, and we blend those all together and put them together and use it according to the situations and conditions of our clients, and we want to just for the best result as we make. Okay, that's integrative or holistic therapy. So if you insist on only one psychotherapy and if you want to just apply only that psychotherapy to your clients, and you are stupid. Because it's the same to that you are believing that you can fix a door with only one screwdriver. How to tailor that door? If that door has a rotten, bottom is rotten. For example, you need a jigsaw, skill saw, table saw, or whatever, and you want to use those things. But you want to just I want to use my screwdriver only. It's stupid, right? You cannot do right work. So basically, we wanna just stick on one psychotherapy, but we wanna just put them together and utilize it for the best result. Okay, so as I said, counselors and psychotherapists need to know what kind of therapists are there, and we want to just understand them, and we want to know how to utilize those psychotherapies, and we want to just use those psychotherapies to help our clients for the best result. That's our goal. Okay, so those are the psychotherapies the pastoral counseling can use. Right?